So let's talk about the new assignment tool in Blackboard. I mean the new SafeAssign tool. Actually, I mean both, because they're now one and the same thing. Okay, before you freak out, if you're used to using SafeAssign, you do still have the same choices under Course Tools, where you can do direct submits, or you can look at the results of your safe assignments, all those reports and things, from that screen. However, if you're going in to add a new safe assignment, you go up here and you go, hey, why is there no listing for SafeAssign? That's because it's now a part of the regular assignment tool in Blackboard. And that's a very good thing. Okay, first of all, assignments and safe assignments have always only needed two things, really: a name and a points possible. Okay? Of course, they have the choice for some instructions and the ability to attach a file, and I'm doing this so you can see where they'll show up. You can attach multiple files, in fact. You can set a due date. You can control the availability, but it defaults to on, and the same kind of date, time, and tracking things that you're used to from everywhere else. Now, wait a minute. That's just an assignment. That didn't say word one about SafeAssign. Well, that's because that and a host of other controls are now nestled here under grading, and they're hidden away from default view. So I'm going to hit them in reverse order of my excitement over them. First of all, the display of grades choice. This is the same set of controls that you have if you go into the Grade Center and modify a column. So the way things used to go is you'd set up a safe assignment or an assignment, and then you had to go in and modify the column settings to match whatever it is that you wanted to have happen. But now you can do it right here. But big whoop, it's just a little more convenient. Okay, grading options. There's two really new functions for grading. The first is called delegated grading, and honestly, since we don't use graders here at Palomar, that's probably not going to matter too much to the people around here. There's also this choice for anonymous grading, and the way that works is if you choose that, then your students' names are going to be concealed when you go to grade their work. However, it's not going to go in and modify the files they submit, so if you choose to do anonymous grading, you might want to be sure and tell your students not to put their names in their papers, or else that won't be very anonymous. Okay, there's also the good one, submission details. Now, first of all, these are some of the controls that used to be out front on the assignment. Is it individual or by group? And of course, since there's no groups in this course, it doesn't really like that, so I'm leaving it on individual. Do you just want a single attempt? Do you want to allow unlimited attempts? And if so, how do you want to manage the grading? Do you want to have a specific number of attempts? Whatever. But I'm kind of old school, so I'm leaving it in single attempt for now. And then, I promised you SafeAssign. You check that box. Now this isn't just an assignment, it's a safe assignment as well. And students submitting this paper would end up generating an originality report. Check this box if you want the students to be able to see their own originality reports. And then if you want it to be a draft where the paper does not get submitted to SafeAssign to be compared to other papers, you'd want to mark exclude submissions. All right? So the way I have it set up right here, individual, single attempt, safe assignment, students can see it, exclude submissions. This is almost how I would set up a safe assignment to accept drafts. Actually, the change I would make is go unlimited attempts. That way, students can submit the paper as many times as they want, and they're going to get originality reports that they can view, but they're not going to be added to that database and have other papers checked against them. Then I'd want to set up a second safe assignment set to single attempt, including the submissions, and I may or may not want the students to be able to see their originality report for that one. And this would be the kind of setup I'd do for a final draft. You know, here's the final paper, but the unlimited attempt one is just for drafts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and submit this so you can see what it looks like when it adds it to an area. And if you're used to using assignments, this all looks pretty familiar. To actually submit something, you click on the name, it has the attached files listed, and then those instructions down below, which is very similar to if you're adding an item. If you go into the assignment, shows points possible, the instructions, gives access to any linked files. This is kind of boilerplate that we put about what SafeAssign's doing and, policy, privacy policies and whatnot. Okay, there's a place for comments down below. Used to be, assignments actually had two text boxes on them. There was comments and then there was something that just said text. And people could get confused as to what they were supposed to put in each. Well, that's been helped out quite a bit here. If you truly want to submit just text rather than attaching a file, you just write the submission here. Most of the time, though, students are going to be attaching a file. Maybe they'll put some comments about it, but let's face it, they probably won't. If they save the draft, it's not going to submit for a SafeAssignment report. It's only going to let students come back and submit it later. However, you should see an indicator in the Grade Center showing that something's in progress if a student has saved a draft. So if a student comes to you and says, well, I turned it in, didn't you get it? You can look in your Grade Center, you can see that they maybe had something in progress, and you can tell them, hey, you didn't really submit that paper. And they can come back here, hit the submit button, and actually give it to you. After they've submitted the paper, it's frankly going to work just like what you've been used to in the past with SafeAssignments. The originality report will take a bit of time to appear, and then it'll be there for review. And you'll be able to have all the wonderful tools for marking up papers and the sidebar for grading and all that good stuff that users of the assignment tool have been used to now. They're one and the same now. I am so happy. Assignments, SafeAssignments, cats and dogs living together. It's wonderful.